Hi everyone. Today we have an incredible story to share, the mysterious relationship between Haug and Laura, and how her husband breathed goodbye to cancer years ago. He said he found true love online, the last meetings as clear as yesterday's breakfast. But he didn't notice anything odd. Mark checked the door lock and found all the locks were replaced with new grandpas, plus he found a receipt for the lock change hiding in the drawer. What a lock as replacement trend. Mark took this clue and asked Haug why he changed locks. Is his house having a lock fashion show? Haug fumbled for words, eventually mentioning that Laura's son has autism. His key losing skills are top-notch. Maybe that's why they upgraded the locks. After some questioning, Jung didn't get any useful leads, but with Haug lacking an alibi, he decided to collect his fingerprints and DNA. What a responsible. Obviously, Jung suspected Haug. At the station, the coroner said after the autopsy, Laura seemed to have joined a stabbing dress contest. Laura had over 50 wounds, and the killer must have used a super-textured blunt object, even chopping her palm off before she died. How insane. Jung asked if her boyfriend's DNA was at the scene. The coroner said no. Then Gantz from Trace Evidence called with a big find, like a new world opening. Jung and Mark rushed to the scene. Gantz said he cleaned out the whole playground and even brought back that particle person for deep analysis. Although no traces were found elsewhere, they surprisingly discovered a fingerprint on the particle person, which matched that of a little girl named Christine. Looks like it's about to hit the headlines. But the oddity is, this girl freed herself a year ago, and her mother is now Rosa, Minister of Affairs. Back then, the case was a sensation, with the little girl missing for days, and the police chiefs personally leading the search. It was a real detective rollercoaster. The suspect confessed he had dismembered and buried her with a cleaver, and cops found the girl's blood and DNA on his tools. It was like a scene straight out of a detective drama. But he was mentally confused, forgot the burial spot, yet was caught by justice. A harsh winter for lawbreakers. Jung was baffled. How did a dead girl's fingerprint appear here? Was the coincidence fated? I circumflexed on a letter 7A3 amount at letter 3CA half O amount letter 3CA Armenian letter 2B acute C with dot above O acute O handled in the saw the O stroke 3 O amount acute C with dot above O acute C letter 4E3 I circumflex G sedula not sign 0 W a graph handle P Vyak A circumflex Dane I circumflex Tom letter 7A3 copyright. Superior said all the kids here have played with particle people, and their fingerprints linger for a long time. It could just be a coincidence. Plus, Rosa just came out of her daughter's shadow. Today is her first day back at work, and the whole society is giving her high attention like a star's comeback press release. Even the Prime Minister personally summoned her to encourage her quick return to job duties. Jung's superior didn't want to stir the hornet's nest who wants more trouble. Jung told Mark they might have to wait. The next day, he decided to remind Rosa's husband that something with his wife and daughter's fingerprints was found at the crime scene. The man looked puzzled, and Jung shared the details, stressing that it had nothing to do with his daughter's case. Let's unlock more information at Lightning's. Just as Rosa was leaving, she rushed out to say her daughter once sold particle people outside. Jung asked Rosa if she knew the buyer, and Rosa said anyone could be. What a vast network. Jung sensed something was off with her and hurriedly left with Mark, like escaping an emotional storm. Rosa and her husband plunged back into painful memories, while Jung got scolded by his superior. Truly, curiosity killed the cat. At this time, Jung deemed it mere coincidence, but Mark countered, the cat's back at pigeons. He was temporarily pulled in, planning to leave in a few days. But due to the case, he had to postpone and decided to team up with Jung to find Laura's autistic son. Jung tried to talk to the boy, who ignored him. Mark stepped in eagerly, suggesting a game, turning it into a game night. He handed the printed photos of the scene to the boy and asked him to find the differences. The boy often plays in the playground, so he must be familiar with all the props. After comparing multiple photos, the boy quickly spotted the particle person, a true mini detective assistant. She was here yesterday. Are you sure you didn't see her here then? The investigating female detective Jung thought it was just a coincidence, but Mark disagreed. His truth radar was activated. They confirmed from Laura's autistic son that the particle person was intentionally left by the killer. Was the killer Shyper? Jung didn't want to complicate the already closed Christine case based on this one. Definitely a good act of protective hesitation. Mark was unhappy about the atmosphere and left. The next day, Jung focused on Haug, questioning why Laura changed the locks. Was he planning a lock party? Did they have a fight? Haug replied he had explained. His son always lost his keys. Seems like this lock really has a history. Jung wasn't satisfied with that answer and questioned, did you argue? Did Laura break up with you? Were you worried you'd never see her again? He lost control and even chopped off her palm. Haug firmly denied, and his lawyer chimed in, don't speculate without evidence. In this situation, Jung finally asked one last question. He handed Haug the photo of the particle person and asked if he had seen it. Haug looked at it and said no. Meanwhile, Mark, investigating solo, seemed to have a breakthrough, like a thrilling moment of detective revelation. He found Jung again, saying that he discovered inconsistencies while researching Christine's case through a friend. Looks like the tower is about to have some adjustment. Mark called Gaines for help to lift something, and when they opened it up, it was a pig. He took a cleaver just like the one in Christine's case. Mark chopped off a pig leg and then cleaned the knife, putting it under a microscope, saying the bone density was similar to that of a 12-year-old kid. To be precise, once the cleaver goes into the bone, the dust will remain in the gaps unless handled properly. Good luck cleaning that up. Yet in Christine's case, only blood traces were found, with no bone particles. Turing started feeling it's getting a bit tough to understand. He believed she wasn't dismembered. The killer had mental problems, but Mark insisted the cases were linked. He wondered why the killer would forget where they buried the body, and the particle person was clearly a setup for that, a true fountain of role-playing. Just then, a colleague ran over to tell them someone had sent a message to Laura's phone, and when they opened it, it turned out to be a children's song about particle. The kicker, the number was local, so Turing ordered tracking at once like a deduction squad in full swing.